2. Yay, welcome, welcome, welcome. Well, 2, yay, welcome. Oh, there's more? Okay, we have more agendas too. There's one up here, I think there's an extra here. So if you need an agenda, let us know, we'll get you one. My name is Paula Diedrich. She, her.
We love you, Paula.
Thank you. So tonight we do have one guest speaker. We have Anna Aho Ring. Yay! Before that, though, I'm just going to give a couple of announcements. I think. Let me double check. So tentatively, we also had Hannah Holman coming from the Rural Health Resource. However, when I confirmed today, oh, get that door, get that door, get that door. We got people coming in. Come on in. Welcome. And again, if you need, I know there's at least one agenda up front here. If you need more copies of the agenda, welcome. So Hannah was not decided not to come tonight, and the reason for that is they have a board meeting next week, and she wanted to have the most up-to-date information. So if you want to just make a note, I did it. So if you look under upcoming one-time events, it's on there that she will be coming on August 25th. I was also told that on August 18th, Dan Barry from the Marquette County Democratic Headquarters is coming to just introduce himself to us. Jen, are you going to talk a little bit about the EAP?
Yeah.
Okay, so I have that as notes. Other than that, I think let's just have Anna come on up.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for coming tonight. Of course, my name is Anna Aho-Ring. I feel like I'm speaking in a room of people that probably know at least something about me, so I don't have to give my usual spiel, and I'm not going to waste your time with that, especially when I'm in a friendly room and I don't have to convince anybody of anything. So it's like such a nice change to be here, and like going to speak with steelworkers tomorrow, which can be a little bit tougher crowd. So I'm happy to be in this warm welcoming room. I will mostly just give updates on my campaign, and then I will be here throughout your meeting, and then afterwards too, to answer any questions, address any concerns, and just talk about things going forward as you have them on an individual level. But really, I've been spending all day, every single day, from 8:30 in the morning until about 11 o'clock at night, doing campaign things because I am determined to turn this district back to blue. We are going to pull it back from Carl Bonak. He does not belong in that seat. That is our seat. I have been speaking with folks in the district, and they all pretty much agree. It is time for us to take this seat back to blue. I have been going around knocking doors in every corner of this district and going to events in every corner of this district. And I mean, I think I'm again preaching to the choir when everyone says the same thing. Everyone is struggling with the same thing. Affordability is a huge struggle for people. Our bills are going up, our wages are not. People are struggling to afford rent or pay their mortgages, pay all their taxes. People are struggling to have access to healthcare, whether it is paying their insurance premiums or being able to fill their medications. People worry about education, the quality of our public schools, affordable childcare, and of course, people are really worried about keeping our environment. Always, we are worried about keeping our environment clean and our lakes and rivers clean and our trees and forests right for those that want to enjoy it for generations to come. So these are things that are really top of mind for folks across the district as I'm talking to people. And again, I know that is no surprise to this crowd here. But what is really, really heartening is the difficulties and these struggles really, want to find ways to continue to reach out and help their neighbors and give a little bit more of themselves. It is very that much that Yooper spirit that we all know is here, but even when people are really struggling, we continue to see that, and it has been so great to talk to folks from every political, the whole range of the spectrum, and believe me, I have seen it all, from get the hell off my porch to, oh my god, I love you, can I give you some of this dinner I just made? Like, here, come in, eat, sit down, you must be starving. So you see the whole range of it, and like I said, everyone is feeling the same. All the Yoopers have that same, like, no, we really need to help our people here. And so my goal is really drawing into that, capturing that, and bringing it home for us. So again, I will be here. I got a request, I got a text message request to bring yard signs today from a few people. So I'm like, yes, I will bring them. So I brought some in the back, but no, there's more in the back of my car. I always have them with me. So feel free to bring them. There is a sign up sheet in the back to, if you want to volunteer, just you can leave your information and you will be on the list. And again, I will be here to answer any other questions. But I did see a hand up there, which I will address right now.
You said you were skipping your regular introduction.
Oh,
Microphone, please. Thank you.
You said
oh,
There's
that's
it.
right.
Towards you. Yeah, I'll get it.
towards me. Thank you.
Hello. Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
You said you were skipping your regular introduction, but if I am going to promote you, I think that I need to have a little of that information.
Oh, sure, absolutely. All right, sorry, those of you that have heard my regular introduction several times, you need to hear it again. My name is Anna Ahoreg, of course, like I just said. I am born and raised Yooper. I'm a fourth generation Yooper on both sides of my family, so really deep roots here. Born right here in Marquette, went to Marquette Public Schools. I'm raising my children here who are also in school. They play high school sports. My husband is a police officer in this district. I was raised in a blue-collar union family. My dad was IBEW my whole life, worked at the Presque Isle Power Plant, and I grew up watching what those hard-working values could do for a family. And boy, it's so hard to watch families now struggle to have all of their needs met. I am a healthcare provider by trade. I'm not a politician by trade. I am a healthcare provider. I've been a physician assistant for over 20 years. I was the physician assistant at the Planned Parenthood office here in Marquette for over 16 and a half, almost 17 years before it was closed due to Trump budget cuts, both to Title X, which is family planning funding, as well as they blocked Medicaid reimbursement for Planned Parenthood offices. So those budget cuts ultimately closed our office in April of last year, which was absolutely devastating for this area and across the entire Upper Peninsula. I have patients coming from the whole UP and even northern Wisconsin, because that is how much of a reproductive health care desert we have here. And thankfully, too, reproductive health resources, which was already mentioned today, we're starting to claw back some of those resources and getting the help we need, but it's not even close to what we lost yet. In that struggle, not only the loss of my office, but in just sitting down, looking patients in the eye, and hearing their stories and hearing their worries, and not only trouble navigating our disaster of a healthcare system, but also just general troubles in paying the bills and, hey, I was going to go back to school, but I can't afford it, and trying to find work. All of these things. Forget trying to get ahead. Pretty much everyone across the board is just trying to keep their heads above water the past 5 years. And after spending so long as a healthcare provider trying to struggle from the ground level and put resources together to try to make connections for folks and get their needs met, and only to have folks in Lansing and DC with the stroke of a pen wipe out another resource, and then once again we're left to pick up the pieces. I was like, you know what? around me work so hard at this level. One of us needs to go down there and actually help make the laws. Let's make things better. We know it needs to be fixed, and right now we don't have anyone in our state house has been a direct patient care provider. Certainly people that have worked in administrative roles in healthcare, but lacking that personal role that we know the outcome when we see the outcomes of the policies they enact. So I said, and also the thing that really got me is Carl Bonack serves on the Health Policy Committee in Lansing. I'm not going to say anything else about that because I don't need to get my own blood pressure up. But we can all suffice it to say very frustrating to me. And I'm like, this can't stand. Our folks here we need more. We need someone who's willing to stick their neck out and fight for it. And I love this district and all of the people here with my whole heart. And I refuse to watch people struggle so much without really, really fighting for it. And so here I am, ready to fight for it.
Thank you.
So when we get to breakout, Anna will have a table. Updates. So last week, no, 2 weeks ago, because we missed last week, right? So Maggie McDevitt came, and she is part of the Chicago DSA, and had talked about a training. So I attended that Zoom training. Did anyone else attend that Zoom training? Okay. They are probably going to have another one. It was really one of their first. It was helpful for me. A lot of it was about how to talk to someone that is non-socialist, socialism completely, but it was even broader than that. It helped talk about what you want and what you want to see in the future. So Maggie, I'm sure will be letting us know if there are more of those trainings coming up. In really no order, I don't think I put these on. Talk the walk and commission meeting. Do you want to give an update? Anyone? Yeah, I'm looking at you, Ruby, but it could be anyone. Yeah, just tell us how it went. I know there was good media coverage, or at least a little media coverage because I saw it.
Hi, I'm Ruby Miller. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm an organizer for We the People Action Fund. And last Monday, we had our Make the Bus Work for Us action, where we had a little parade that was chalked ahead of time, which was cool. And we had a little parade to the county commission meeting where folks made public comments. We're trying to get some more funding to make MarkTran more accessible, because accessibility to being able to move around is connected to access to housing and healthcare and food resources and participation in our community. It's kind of part of this big picture. It went really well. A lot of people spoke from their hearts about it. It was great. The commissioners, because of the groundwork we'd laid before, had some fresh ideas in the mix, which was nice. Caitlin, did you want to say anything?
Yeah. Hey, Caitlin Jensen, she, they. Also not doing in the We the People circle of things. Yeah. So building off of our Make the Bus Work for Us action too, I also wanted to let people know this is more tied to upcoming work that We the People is going to be doing around canvassing and election defense. But this Sunday, our election defense events team folks are planning a coffee crawl centered around hands off our vote. And the focus of that is really to make sure that people are starting now to think about that November election. And do you know where you're registered to vote? Do you know you're registered to vote? Do you know where your polling place is? Some of our folks even on our team who are out in Ishpeming noted that their Ishpeming polling place was different this election than it has been, and that threw a lot of people off. And so just making sure that hey, well in advance, do you know where you need to go, and if you don't, do you know how to find that info? So centered around that aspect of We're making sure that people are going to the polls informed. So we're going to be doing, like I said, coffee crawl, but also doing a little bit of art making while we're doing this. So the crawl is going to start in Ishpeming, probably at Velodrome. We're going to be there for an hour and then go to a to be determined coffee shop in Nagani, either Campfire or Contrast, and then spend another hour in Marquette at Trinary Coast. So we'll be sending out info with that through, hopefully we can signal those through LSRI. We'll do too. This is this Sunday, 9 a.m., 9 to 10 will be in Ishpeming. 10:30 to 11:30 will be in Nagani. And then noon to 1 will be in Marquette. So hour-long stretch, kind of giving ourselves a half hour in between travel time.
But why would it be hands off our vote? Who wants to get their hands on our vote? Why are we talking about this so early?
What a great question, Ruby. We know that Trump, the MAGA movement, has been signaling very clearly that they intend to mess with the elections. They've been teeing that up for quite a while now. We even had, there were, I don't know, rumors, was this substantiated, that they were going to try to send federal poll watchers to places downstate? Yeah, okay, so they did. Yeah, so Jen Hill will maybe give you a little more info on that at some point. But yeah, we know what they're planning to do. They have been absolutely transparent about that. And so we are organizing now to say, no, you won't. No. We know what our rights are, and we're going to get together and make sure that we follow this election not just through November 3rd, but everything that comes after that, to make sure that our votes get counted, that nobody's messing with them.
Yes. That's the thing.
Hi everyone, Zeke McClure, he, him. I am giving an update on the Rank My Vote lack of petition campaign for 2027-2028. The latest news from Rank My Vote, which if you are not familiar, let me give a bit of context. Rank My Vote was the campaign last year to try to get ranked choice voting on the ballot for Michigan, so that it would be the new way to vote for statewide elections. They did not get anywhere near the numbers they wanted, and the current strategy, they do not feel it is appropriate to jump right into a second launch this next year for targeting the 2028 ballot. So that's the bad news. The good news is we are trying to work on promoting and removing legislative obstacles to ranked choice voting in smaller municipalities and localities across the state. And the other good news about that is that it's a lot less involved effort. So right now, there are plans to go, yeah. Thank you, Oscar. Did I lose it? I lost it. Is it working? Okay, there we go. Yeah, so it's basically similar to some of the other actions that we have been taking lately, and contacting representatives and telling them to advocating on ranked choice voting's behalf, getting them to listen and pay attention and change the legislation to allow people in these municipalities that want ranked choice voting to legally have it. So if you're interested in being involved in this strategy for ranked choice voting and Rank My Vote, please get in contact with me or come over to one of the tables afterwards, and I'll get your information down and keep you in the loop going forward. Thank you.
I'll get it. All right. I'll do my job. So. All right.
Um, so thank you. I want to thank everyone for voting, and we had a record turnout. If you haven't heard, we had more than 2 million people voted in the primary, which is fantastic. Record turnout. 35% of the registered voters voted. So on the one hand, yay, and on the other hand, wow, like, woo, room for improvement. Yes, we can grow the votes. Of course, people get confused about primaries. What are primaries? What are they for? Huge opportunity as we're moving from 27 and 28 to help people understand what the heck a primary is. And so just planting that seed of an opportunity down the line, because big choices were made. And like the whole frickin' country cares about us and what we decided for our Senate race in particular. So, just planting that seed for future growth. I harvested 2 tomatoes today. I'm thinking about harvesting. So, let's see. So thank you to the volunteers who helped out last night at the data center event. That was amazing. Thank you, thank you. We had 250 people at the ORDOC. And grand total with everybody in all the locations and online, 450 people in the 1st Congressional District got together to talk about data centers and why we want to preserve our way of life up here and not just let the billionaires run over us. We're going to send an email out tomorrow with updates. And big news, first meeting of the Central UP Hub of the NMARD, Northern Michigan Alliance for Responsible Development, is going to be August 26th. And we are working on having that happen at the Air Force Museum in Gwinn because of the talk of the event, potentially having a data center in Gwinn. So folks that came last night who are from the area have volunteered to help set that up with me. So that's going to be August 26th at 6 o'clock. Hopefully, location TBD, we're going to get that nailed down tomorrow. Yes?
Can you restate what that is so I can write it?
That is a conversation about responsible development. Data centers is part of it, but it's a Northern Michigan Alliance for Responsible Development. Just rolls right off the tongue, doesn't it? And we're not just anti, it really is the for responsible development. That's really what we want to talk about, but let's get our zoning in place and get those moratoriums in place so we have a pause and they can't just come in. We had hoped last night to have the school update us that is got the crypto mine running 24/7 across the street from it in eastern UP. And in the end, the lawyers told her not to speak because they are currently in a lawsuit. So we were going to have her talk, and then we had to shut that all down. But Charlie Behrens did have the loons call, and then the sound of data centers immediately after. They're not the same. You may have guessed that. And so looking forward, I'll look back and look forward one more time. Poll challengers, thank you so much to the people who helped pilot a new program and put up with me emailing you 5 times in one day. Thank you, thank you. But poll challengers are when you watch what's happening to make sure people have access to the ballot, because as we talked about, Trump is definitely messing with things downstate. And things there's some shenanigans that have happened up here, and we don't want that to happen again. So folks went and watched, and we had a situation where you're not allowed to put any kind of signage within 100 feet of a poll door. Well, some enterprising candidate got their signs out too close to the Y. We called, and they were taken down. And then over in the Sioux, because I work for Up North Advocacy now, and we are UP-wide. Over in the Sioux, someone showed up to vote in a shirt that said, "Trump is the best president since George Washington." Strong opinion. 250 years, what can we say? And the clerk told him, "You have to turn the shirt inside out to vote." And he said, "No, I don't." So there's a phone number to call. Do folks remember the phone number to call?
Yep.
866 our vote. You could call that number today and someone will answer it and they will say, hey, what's your problem? I'm here to help you protect democracy. How can I help you have your right to vote? So 866 our vote, that number is 24/7, 365. They called, the conversation started, someone called the police. We don't know who. The police show up with Mr. Trump is the best president since George Washington. And the policeman is literally reading out loud what the law says. And what the law says is you cannot show up with anyone currently on the ballot in the voting location. So he was allowed to vote with his Trump shirt. You can't, he might have been a little proud of this happening. But the poll worker was very professional about it. She's like, look, I'm just erring on the side of caution. It's been decided. You have your right to vote. He got his I voted sticker, and everything was cool. What happened downstate is that the Department of Justice sent observers to East Lansing, Lansing, and Detroit. And they sat in the room and took notes. That is all they did. And since they are federal employees, there is a likelihood that they could be FOIA'd, Freedom of Information Act, where we have the right to find out what they said. So that is being started. We don't know whether how soon that will take, but there is concern that they will more directly interfere in November, which is why, second big alert. So first big alert was August 26th to talk about responsible development. Our message is to vote early, vote in early voting, get your absentee ballot, turn it in. Those are good things. Okay. And speaking of voting, coming up, my organization, Up North Advocacy, is going to do a program that we're calling Election Education for Everyday People. EEP. E-E-E-P. And thank you for laughing. We entertain ourselves. And so EEP is going to be September 17th to September 24th, right before ballots drop. And I'm working with some Republicans. I'm working with some different independents. And we're going to have this wonderful woman named Marie Wicks, who's really a hoot in all the Midwestern hootness. She is going to talk about how do ballots get counted? Like what actually happens when you give it to the machine? Like how does all this stuff work? She has this great presentation, and so we are setting those up. I would love to talk to churches and all non-votey sort of things, but other. So if there's a group that Marie is now retired and has a house in Sheboygan, and she's like, sure, I want to come up to the UP. Come and get me. So we have the 17th to the 24th, but she would love to come up other times. So please let me know if you have a group that you think would be interested. Probably like 10 people, and she would come. Buy her lunch. That's all you need to do. And then I had hoped that, so I get to be on the statewide election protection calls now, which is how I know about what happened downstate, because there were 90 people on the Zoom this morning. And the Secretary of State's office has released the preliminary numbers of the total number, the 2 million voters. For Marquette County, we had 10,156 absentee ballots. 10,000 people in Marquette County voted by absentee. Now what that means for November election is those people start voting on September 26th, which is easy for me, that's my birthday. Easy to remember. So 10,000 people start voting on September 26th, which might be, I don't know, 7 weeks from now. That's the timeline that we're on. So, and Anna knows it well. So, enjoy your summer, please, because it's gorgeous and we're due, we're owed. We have 7 weeks to make sure that we've retained democracy in our country and that we're going to get the people that we want to represent us and do the work. So I hope that out of tonight, in the breakouts that we're going to do, that we are going to come together and we are going to get the people elected that we need. Because we sure as hell do not want Mike Rogers. We sure as hell do not want John James and the other people who have cut and cut and cut and cut in our communities. 7,000 ballots were cast on election day. 10,000 ballots were done absentee. So that's September and October. We're going to do this. We got 5,000 people to show up, remember, for No Kinks. That was us and LSRI and all the things. We got to get those 5,000 people. We have got to get those people to come out. So we're going to talk tonight about great, fun ways to get that turnout out, because that is how we're going to take our democracy back. Thank you, everybody.
LSRI. Every time.
Yeah, well,
The all-member meeting.
right, we're going to have an all-member meeting on, or we're not,
Didn't we just have one?
yes, we just had one.
That's what we want.
Oh, at the all-member meeting, this was awesome. It's Jack or John who lives down the street who wrote the email. Jack, who comes to these meetings, who has the signs in his yard about voting and taking back our country. So Ruby and I did a demonstration at the all-member meeting about what it's like to knock a door. And I did it wrong. I did. And because I'm like, hey, we want to, it's really important that we vote. It's really important we vote. We got to go do this voting thing. But to tell the why. Tell the why about how I have heard so many stories, horrifying stories of what is going on. Like, I am absolutely driven to make sure that we have as many people come out, because I was working, well, you guys have seen me cry, but the woman whose child is she's 75 years old. She doesn't know how she's going to be able to take care of her child after she's passed. And our laws and our healthcare system is not going to make sure that her child is going to get the care that she deserves. Those kind of stories keep me going. And we tell those stories at the doors, and people can see how much we care. Last night at the data center, I was talking to the owner of Ordoc, and I said, what do you think? He said, it was great. It was a big party. It was really a lot of fun. And she said, what really struck me though was the woman from Michigan Tech, the Michigan Tech student who said, I grew up in Saline, where the largest data center in Michigan is being built right now, and the creek that I played in is going to be destroyed. That's the kind of stories that we can bring to the doors and let people know that this is the show that happens on TV and the talking heads. And people's lives are being impacted by decisions that are being made in Lansing and Washington, D.C. And so the Neighbor to Neighbor program is this program where you get the names of 10 of your neighbors who we know are friendly to Indivisible. They're connected to Indivisible in some way. And you connect with the Neighbor to Neighbor program. So Jack, having watched Ruby and I, logged in, got his neighbors, and talked to them and convinced 5 of them to vote in the primary who weren't going to vote before. Didn't tell them how to vote, just convinced them to vote in the primary. And it was because he watched Ruby and I get up and be silly. So Neighbor to Neighbor with LSRI, which is it's a national indivisible program, a special Michigan program actually. You log into Indivisible Neighbor to Neighbor, you'll get the names of 10 of your neighbors who are friendly to Indivisible, And then you just go, what Jack did is he took a blank ballot with him and said, hey, this is happening on Tuesday, did you know? We're going to have ballots starting in September 26th, and we could do the same. And we could get those numbers up. As simple as just going to 10 of your neighbors. He said it took him a half an hour over 2 days. He did a half an hour one day and half an hour like another day, and he was done. So, we got this.
I have a couple updates. So Michiganders for Money Out of Politics, that ballot language has been approved by the State Board of Canvassers. However, now our state legislature has 40 days that they can enact that legislation. That happened in 2018 for the minimum wage. They enacted it. The problem with that is if it's enacted in the next session with a simple majority, they can completely change that, like they did with the minimum wage. Yes. So, if you are part of the LSRI, you will be seeing an armchair action coming out soon with some language, some more background, and a script that you can use to call Bonac and McBroom to tell them not to do that. That over 5,000 Michiganders signed that petition to get it. Huh? 500. What did I say? 5,000. Oh, sorry. I missed a couple zeros there, didn't I? Over 500,000 signed that to get it on the ballot so voters could vote on it, not so that our state reps and senators could do something with it. They haven't done anything with it for a long time. So just because we want to now doesn't mean that they should. So watch for that. There will be more updates. I also got an email yesterday from Voters Not Politicians. I don't know what it's called, but it's the ballot petition that requires proof of citizenship for us to vote in Michigan. And that one also had enough signatures. However, this was by 5 o'clock yesterday, so sorry. But you could give feedback if that language was clear or not. So you can watch for more information about that. I haven't heard anything more other than they were hoping that people would give some feedback yesterday. It was like an urgent need. So that one is still out there too.
Next meeting is the 17th.
Next meeting for that is.
The Board of Canvassers meeting on the 17th.
So the Board of Canvassers are meeting on August 17th. Okay. To decide if that language can go on or not. Okay, thank you. I'm just looking to see if I have anything else. I do not have anything else. So anyone? Yep.
Question about one of your.
Sure. So I have a question, so I have to stay up here.
If the initiative gets enacted, you said that the state.
So if the Michigan out of politics,
Yeah.
the money out of politics, Michigan out of politics, sorry,
Yeah.
money out of politics, if the legislature takes that and enacts it,
Yeah.
yes.
And then they, what happens if people put it on the ballot again?
So the concern about the legislature taking it up is the most fundamental change is when the people pass a ballot initiative, it takes 75% of a vote to then change it in the legislature. So that's a really, really high bar, right? So basically, what the people want will be done. If they pass a piece of legislature that has the same language and is the same thing, and it passes in the legislature, then you only need 50%. And 50% is something that people can be manipulated, and then people like we had the whole mess, tremendous mess with the minimum wage, where it was the law, but it was in court, and so small businesses had to enact increases in the minimum wage by law that were really the law had actually that was passed with the ballot initiative put it in place over a set number of years. And when the legislature did it, they forced it to happen in 1 year instead of over time. Which, by the way, happened under a Republican-led legislature. Just saying. And so they can go in and make those fundamental changes to what the law said and enact it in ways that actually end up hurting people, even though it's one of those things where it's carrying out the letter of the law, but not the spirit of the law. Is that clear? So, and then on the I was on a call, I got to be on a call this week on that citizenship voting thing. You know, why this whole citizenship. Of course people should be a citizen to vote. Of course people should be a citizen to vote. So we're coming up with a likely ad campaign with a hockey mom and then her 18-year-old son who's coming in to vote for the first time. 18-year-old son's name is what's on his birth certificate. He's given the right to vote. Mom, who's married, is dumping her bag out, trying to find an ID because her birth name is something different than the name on her driver's license. And because of that, they've been doing this in Arizona. They keep 2 sets of voter rolls. It's going to cost us millions of dollars because you'll be allowed to vote in federal elections with your married name, but not allowed to vote in state. Like, we know what happens when we enact this kind of law. You end up with 2 voting rolls, and basically women can't vote in certain elections. That is literally the consequence of this. We have seen it play out in Arizona. So we're developing these campaign ideas. And it's like, really? It really does that? Yes. If you changed your name and your name is not the same as your birth certificate, you will not be allowed to vote.
Even if you bring your marriage certificate?
Even if you bring your wedding, because that's not a citizenship document.
Oh my God.
Yes, it is written, and it's one of those things people are like, it's not, yes, that is literally what it does. That's why the citizenship is such a key part of this, and people need to understand that when you register to vote, you demonstrate your citizenship. And then when you go to vote, all you have to do is prove that you are who you are today, and that you live in that precinct and have the right to vote there. Yeah.
Did that pass in the state? Or she'll repeat it.
Yeah.
Did that pass in a Michigan State House?
So she's asking if the Michigan SAVE Act passed. I think the House may have passed it because there's like 2, the Republicans do have to control the Michigan House. So they do things because they can, and then it dies. So, right, it may have passed the House, but it's never going to get taken up in the Senate with Sarah Anthony in charge of the Senate. Ain't going to happen. So, and Gretchen Whitmer is never ever going to sign it. So when we have this split house, it's not under Matt Hall. They don't negotiate. They play games.
Thank you. Thank you.
Any other? Oh, yeah. You coming up here or there?
Right here.
Okay.
I think that's a good argument for all women to keep their own damn name.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
But I also wanted to say that I don't know who's interested in the Epstein files, but the public can listen live as the DOJ is forced to answer for the Epstein files redactions. On August 13th at 1 o'clock, you can call in and listen.
to them as they explain themselves. And I think that the higher number of people who do that, the better. There's a number and a meeting ID number I can send you if you're interested.
Talk to me later.
I just didn't mention earlier, so me and some folks tonight, we are going to be pulling together a little We the People meeting, I guess, to further kind of debrief the August 3rd action that we took, debrief the primary results itself, and talk about our plans for canvassing teams and introduce the leads of those teams. So anybody here is welcome to join us. I don't know if anybody in the internet land can hear me. We are going to try to have a Zoom link working for this as well. So hopefully we can get that going smoothly. But yeah, anybody's welcome to join us for that conversation.
Thank you. Chris, you got something? Okay.
I just want to comment on the importance of numbers. I went to a meeting last night at the Chocolate Township Fire Hall where they had the meeting in the larger room, and it was fascinating. Every single chair was occupied, and about the same number of people were also standing up in the back. TV6 was there. I don't know. Did anybody see a news clip on it?
Yeah, TV6 had my UP news clip yesterday or today.
Was it 7 o'clock or was it later?
I don't watch it.
Well, anyway, I didn't even look for it. However, what was interesting about it is as we looked at all of the officers there, they were clearly, there's a term for it, my brain just hiccuped, but they were clearly attentive, very much interested in what was said, and I lost count of how many people spoke. I did too. But the key issues were, the issue is, they talked about mining in general, but they were really talking about sand and gravel mining and the various reasons why the change in the existing ordinance, which has been on the books since I forget when, I think sometime in the 80s, which protects people and their property as well as wetlands and so on and so forth. In other words, a good collaborative initiative. Well, apparently there was some change in a law down, Michigan law that puts some limits on what local communities can insist upon. I'm not very specific on this because I didn't take notes and I'm not that clear on it. But the issue was they were going to remove the requirement for 1,000-foot setback between a gravel or sand mining operation from any home area. And there were some other restrictions that were, they said the only way that those restrictions could be done, it was if there was great harm. So no clear definition as to what great harm would mean. And the setback, they had taken that out, but indicated that, there could be some conversations. People, there was a retired doctor there who spoke about the impact on lungs, the disease that gets in your lungs. Anyway, from breathing in particles. But there were so many, a lot of confirming things, but coming in from different angles. Really well thought out arguments, including challenges to the legal arguments that they were making that supposedly indicated we had to soften up that ordinance. Everyone who spoke was so articulate and so well versed in what they were talking about, and the very number of people, and the basic idea was vote no and start over again. My point was, I thought the premise was all wrong from the start. They were starting with, people might want to do this. Let's figure out a way to do it so that the public won't complain very much. And my argument was, we need to start with, how do we protect people when people say we would like to do this? And so we were urging the council to vote no. Well, they didn't. They went into closed session with their legal counsel, and they were gone for probably a half hour, at which point probably half to two-thirds of the people left. But it was at least a third of the folks that stayed. And when they came back, it took a while to really understand what they were saying, what they had decided, because it was very clear that every one of those representatives there was sympathetic to the arguments being made. So we thought it was a slam dunk they were going to vote no. What they did makes very good sense, and I want to clarify that. One of the things was that it was the planning commission that would make whatever decisions about these kind of things. And one of the arguments was it shouldn't be unelected people that make decisions that have those consequences. Plus the whole idea of there should be some kind of bonding. In other words, there were lots of really good arguments made. And so when they came back, it turns out that what they have decided to do is put together based on all the conversation, all the comments they'd gotten before, and the arguments that were made, and send to the planning commission the must-haves in the revised ordinance. In other words, the setbacks and so on and so forth. Send those back to the planning commission. So this coming Friday at 5:30 in the fire hall, Friday afternoon, well, that's the way it goes. But that meeting will outline for the public what those requirements are that the board will be sending to the planning commission. And then there'll be delays before, then they have time to get the thing rewritten. And it seems to me there was something about January, but don't quote me on that. The point being, it wasn't a bad decision at all, because I talked with one of the members that I happen to know for another reason, and I said, why didn't you guys just vote no? He said, we've got to make sure we don't invalidate whatever we've got on the books now while we're working on the other. And that made sense enough to me. And of course, people don't really, when we want something fixed, we want it fixed right now. Well, it doesn't happen that way. We want it fixed right, and that's another point that everybody made. So I thought you'd be interested in hearing how that went. Stay tuned.
Thank you for that update, because I have been seeing that. Is there any other updates? Otherwise, we will go to breakouts. I have currently only 2 breakouts. We the People and Anna, right over here.
Excuse me,
Oh, and Chris has one more thing.
The point I'm getting at is showing up en masse and having your homework done really, really makes a difference. It was, I'm surprised that there wasn't more in the news, but probably because it got pushed aside. I'm guessing there'll be something after what happens on Friday. But show up for these group meetings. It makes a difference.
I will tell you, Ishpring Township is also showing up at their meetings, because there is possible housing, some housing being proposed down the street from my childhood home. And there are quite a few people that have been showing up, and I just heard yesterday from someone that went to the last meeting that it's getting kind of heated up there too. So that's up in Ishpring Township. Did you have something? Okay.
Got a little bit late. I didn't hear Anna speak, but I have been canvassing door to door using the local.
Closer to the microphone.
I have been canvassing door to door for Anna Rink every day, almost every day for the last 3 weeks, and the other Democrats, using the local Democratic parties and Cali bars and others, their minivan, which is on your handheld phone. I encourage all of you to volunteer to take the training with the Democratic Party minivan if you want to see Democrats win. Please do that. This Friday, the local Democratic Party is having an open house to talk about how to do minivan and about the candidates and how we talk to people about Dr. El Sayed. We're not going to call Dr. El Sayed Abdul anymore. The Michigan Democratic Party wants him to be respected by calling him Dr. El Sayed. So I encourage all of you to think about coordinating your door-to-door efforts with the local Michigan Democratic Party and Anna's campaign and Callie's campaign and Dr. El Sayed's campaign and Benson's campaign and Kelly Vangenhoven's campaign, because we're not going to win if we silo everything. Please coordinate.
Oh, see, I keep getting up and I don't have to yet.
It's gonna take me 2 seconds. Yeah, stay here.
I just wanted to let everybody know I won't be here next week, so I am looking for support in helping set up refreshments and staying a little late to take it all down. If you can do that, let me know so that I know that it's going to be covered and we're not leaving it all to Paula. She does a lot already. Thank you.
She just wants you to have better hospitality than I will provide. Because see, I told her, I'm like, I just stand up there and go, okay, it was me tonight, so you got what you got. So I will be here to open, but yes, if anyone wants to help set up and take down and next week, that would be appreciated by me and anyone that's in attendance probably. So I think that's it. It was a long, productive, we're back at it, I feel. All right, so breakouts are available.